most in AutoCAD is that we need to open the right project. So let me close these files. And then we're going to open the 3D file that we're working with. So not only do we need to then be on a 3D environment as we see here, but we also need to change the ribbon to be 3D model. Okay, so now we have at the top of the screen, we have the 3D modeling tools, and at the bottom, we have a 3D model environment. And let's delete this, and we'll kind of go back to this again. So one of the easiest ways to create geometry in 3D is through the use of 2D profiles. And so we can select a shape here, and that's what we call a profile. It could be any shape, but that's made out of 2D objects, right? And so we have a couple options here. We have the extrude tool. Select extrude, click on the object, press enter, and it creates a solid object, right? We just give a value on the z-axis. Now, the difference between this object and the other one is that these objects are all separate lines. This one is a solid, one polyline. And so if I apply extrude again on this other one, the result is going to be different because the line segments are not joined in one object, and it creates these surfaces as opposed to this that creates a solid. So we have those the two different ways that the extrude tool can interact with and create three-dimensional geometry in AutoCAD. And so that's the extrude tool, very simple to use. And you can use that with any profile that you may have, as long as the profile is a series of connected line segments or one line segment made out of a polyline, or several line segments that make up a polyline. All right, so that's very easy to do. And all you need to do, once again, is give some value on the z-axis, right? Maybe 5. And there is a thickness there, right? Maybe I want to do more, and I can add it like that. The other tool that we've been using is a little different, because with this other tool, I could have an object that is actually different lines, right? If I use extrude, it's going to create a surfaces. In this case, if I use extrude with this other tool, this tool is called the press pull tool. I can create a solid out of the boundary that is defined by those 4 lines. There we go, right? All I did was to select a point inside those 4 lines, and then it creates a solid. Press pull and done, right? So very simple to create also three-dimensional geometry from a 2D profile using the press pull. Now, press pull does have a couple different options, right? And in order to show you some of those options, let's create this first object here. and maybe make this be, oh, it's pretty big. Let me create a smaller object. And then let's make it 36, comma 24. And that's the object. And now we're going to do a press pull here. It may be 36. All right, so that's a little object that we have there. Now, if I create some geometry here on the side, for example, I go to the wireframe view and create some geometry here. Let's put the dynamic input on. All right, and so I'm going to create some geometry here with that rectangle that I just did. So I'm going to do a press pull option, get close to that, and this time I'm going to press. By pressing, remember, you create a void. So press pull can be used to do that. Right? We can do solid or void areas on any particular situation. We'll apply that as we move on. The other tool that we have is the slice tool, and we haven't talked about that yet. So let's do an object here. And the slice tool is, I like to call the slice tool the 3D trim, because you can do this. Go to solid and then slice. Creates new 3D solids and surfaces by slicing or dividing existing objects. So I'm going to select slice, click this object, and press enter. Now we get some options. I can slice this object with using some other tools. For example, the default one, 3 points, is really easy to use. So I'm going to select 3 points. Select this point, this corner point here, and that other point, and press enter. So see, I defined a work plane that cuts the object in two by selecting 1, 2, and 3 points. Now, if I click on this, I can move it because it's sliced. Let's do that again. Slice tool, click the object, press enter, click on one point, another point, and the other point. Press enter, that's the next step. And it says here, let's do it again because it didn't. Select the object, press enter. Now select the options. I didn't select the options. 3 point. Now click 1, 2, and 3. And press enter. Now we can see that it's sliced. And now I can move this object. There are a couple options here that I want to see when I do the slice tool. Slice, click, press enter. Options, 3 points, click 1, 2, 3. And now the options at the bottom, you can see it says there, keep both sides. Or you can specify a point on the side that you want to delete, but we're going to keep both. And now I can move that so that you can see that it's been sliced. Let's do it in a different way so that you can, I'm going to cut it right in the middle. So I'm going to select one point here, another here, and another there. And done. Now I got one slice and the other. And so the slice is an editing tool, right? I can edit geometry that has already been created, and that's important. As I said, I see this as the trim tool in 3D. I can trim three-dimensional objects using slides. And I can use other objects. For example, I like sometimes to use the circles to do slides. Right? And so if I move that circle down, I can go to the front side. This is a circle, right? I can do UCS by view and now move the circle down. Now I can go back to World UCS, 3D, go home. And now this circle is kind of inside the object. So I can use this circle as the slicing tool. So I'm going to select slice. Select the object I want to slice, press enter. And now I select the tool. In this case, I'm going to do a planar object. Select that, press enter. And see, the object has been sliced with a plane that is defined by that circle. So that is also a great tool to know, right? Because you can use other shapes to slice objects. The circle acted as a knife there, slicing the object. And sometimes is the tool that you want to use for that job. There's another tool that we have to create three-dimensional work in AutoCAD. And for that, I am going to bring a floor plan here. So let me open that plan. Open floor plan. And I am going to copy this floor plan. And I'm going to paste it here. Remember, that's one way of bringing objects into other drawings, right? So now I have that floor plan there. Let's define this as the home. And these walls on the sides are 6 inches walls. And so one thing I can do to start creating this geometry would be to use the polysolid tool, right? And so, and this is kind of the workflow that I'm thinking that you can use, is to bring your floor plan into the 3D drawing and then start creating geometry. First, I'll create the walls, then I can create the floor, and then I can create a roof. And there are all other ways of doing this as we continue to work. So let's do the walls now. There's a tool called the polysolid tool. It was created just for that, to create kind of wall-shaped objects, because it allows to create a profile and then extend that profile as I want to or as I need to. Let's do that. So select polysolid. There are 3 options that I can select, right? Height and width. Let me check the units and see if we are in architectural units. Yes, we are. Then do polysolid, options, height, 8 feet, width, 6 inches. And see, I'm defining the object. And then justify is going to be left. And I start to create the geometry. And I just click where I need to as I go, right? Sometimes it's hard to see, then I can just go to change the visual style, right? So maybe the visual style is better to have wireframe, right? Start from here, and now you can see through the polysolid, right? Or I could start from the back. In that way, I can see where I'm going easier. All right, let's see what we got. Let's do conceptual. Oh, something happened there. See, there's a problem in that space there. And so there are many ways to fix that, right? One way would be to go to the UCS plan, and then I can create a polyline here. Right, the polyline is created. Now let's go back to home. And there is a polyline there at the bottom. So I could now extrude that polyline, right? By 8 feet. And I just created that object that fills in that particular. Now, there is another tool, of course, that you could use. It's called the union tool, right? And you could union all of this. I'm not going to do it right now. I like to leave things as they are, as I go, in case I need to modify it later. I don't want to be final, but I could union that and make it a solid. Well, let's do it. Select that, and press enter, and now it's one object, see? Great, I just created the walls on the outside. Now we can create the walls on the inside. Let's do more polysolids. And all the way to there. See? No, the wrong place. There we go. To there. Press enter. And now just created that wall. Let's create these other walls on the inside. And see, that's the good thing about using the wireframe, is that you can see through. And now you can select the objects that you need to select. Enter. Again, let's create this one. Enter. And now the last wall here. Enter. And done. We just created all the walls for this house. There they are. And if I look at the top view, that's what I need to see, right? And so that's kind of the workflow that we need to use when we create the geometry. And of course, now I need to start creating the doors and windows. The doors and windows on the exterior are easy to do because I could bring my elevation and paste it on this side, right? One side elevate, paste the other elevation here, paste the other elevation, and then just use press pull and so on and so forth. I could do that, or I could just create the geometry myself, right? I know there is a door here. Door number 5 is 36 by 80. So one of the things I can do then is to modify the UCS. Remember, that's a very important tool to have. And so I'm going to select 3-point UCS. Click for the origin, then X, and then Y at the top. And now I'm going to create a rectangle here. From here, that rectangle is going to be 36 on the X and then 80 on the Y. So I can go back to the world UCS. And now I have that rectangle there. So what are the options there? Well, there are two options here, and I'm going to do both. The first option, of course, is to do a press pull and then press, right? So I could do press pull, come close to that, and then press. Done. Now I have the opening for the door. Or I could do another option, right? This one implicates or makes me do a couple of objects, right? So I am going to do an extrusion, select the object, press enter, and now I can do that. Now that I did that, I am going to move that object perpendicular to the wall so that it is going through the wall. Like that. And now I can, well, maybe I do this. Maybe I copy that object because I know there is another door that is the same, right? So let's copy that object to this other door here. And let's move it so that it's going through. So I have this object going through that wall, this one going through that. So what I'm going to do now is use the subtract tool. Remember, we used the union, now we use subtract. And so I select subtract from here, enter this and that, and enter. And now I did the two doors at one time, which was good. That's a good thing to do. So now I have door and door. And I need to do all of those doors as I continue to work with this project. Okay, and so the same thing we can do with the windows, right? Although the windows are a little different, right? Because we need to remember what those are. So let me go to here. And I have the windows here. For example, window 1 is 42 by 60. Let's do a large window, 11, 63 by 48. 11 is 63 by 48, and that one is where? Right here. And 10 is 24 by 48. 24 and 63 by 48. Okay, let's do those windows. So those are on this side. And we're going to do wireframe. So once again, select the 3-point UCS. I'm going to click on this 0. That's what I wanted. X and then Y up. Now I am going to select a rectangle. And I'm going to create a rectangle starting here. That is 63, 48. And that's the rectangle. Now, 48 is the top of the rectangle, but in reality, the head height of that window is 80 inches. So I should move that 80 minus 48. 32, which may be the sill height. Let's see, that's true, move up 32. And that's kind of, no, I don't think it is. Let's see. I'm gonna go to the right side and UCS by view. And now I want to measure what the distance is. 16 inches. In reality, let me do a line here. And then I'm going to offset that line by 80 inches. No, that's fine. We are at 80 inches. That's the right height. So I didn't have to do much there. You see as well, and get back to that. I'm going to do the same here. We're going to do home, rectangle, click here, and then this window is, oh, I need the UCS, right? See? UCS, X, and Y at the top. Now I am on this work plane. See, the work plane is that wall. But I need to be on the 3D, on the wireframe. Rectangle, click there, and that rectangle is 24, 48. And we're gonna move it up by 32 inches, right? We found that that was the right number. And now we'll go back to conceptual. And there it is. Now we could do press pull or subtract, and then we create the openings for those windows. Oops. Let's do it again. And now we have windows on that side. You see as world, and get back to that. And that's the workflow to create the geometry that I need, right? There's not much that I need to do. All of the geometry that I need for objects like this, I can create using a combinations of these tools that I have used so far. There's another tool that I want to show you that may not be applicable right away, but it will be. And this tool is called the Revolve tool. So I'm going to go to UCS plan to go to a plan view. And that's the same as clicking on top of the cube. And now that we are in 2D, right? This is the 2D environment. I'm going to draw, let's draw a profile here. So I don't know what profile, maybe, let's see, polyline. Well, let's try to do a strange profile, maybe something like that. And then we go up. And then maybe we can, oh yeah, that's kind of the, well, certainly an interesting shape. Let's see if we can do the same here. And let's join all of that. Okay, so now that we have that profile, I'm going to go up to 3D again. Remember, this object doesn't have anything to do with the house, but I'm just going to give you an example of this tool called the Revolve tool. So we're going to apply the Revolve tool. And what it does, it revolves the profile around an axis. So revolve, select the object, press enter. And now we're going to select the axis point. And see how it creates that object. Or two objects. That's interesting because it doesn't have a, oh, I see. So let's do this. I'm going to create the axis and offset that maybe by 3. And maybe extend that to there. And extend that by 3. Delete that and that. And let's see what happens now. Revolve. Select the object, press enter. This is the axis. And there we go. That's kind of what I wanted, 360. And we got that shape. So that's an interesting shape. Like I said, doesn't have anything to do, but it might be that I can use it for something, right? I'm gonna use the rotate gizmo. We'll talk about that later. And move it up like that. It could be a table, right? Or something like that. And that's the revolve tool. When we are ready to start creating the roof on this object, then again, you can bring your elevation view and paste it here. In that way, you will have the starting points for that, right? But if I don't, then I can draw it. That's, I think that's something I can do. And I can draw by doing a couple things here. I could go to the right side and then select the UCS to be by view. UCS, view. So now I can draw here, right? And so I could do that. The problem with that is that this plane is not really at 0, 0. And so if I want to be at 0, 0, then I need to actually locate my 0, 0 right there. And there are a couple of ways of doing that, but probably the best one is to actually just rotate this object and make it be there. Or locate the UCS icon to be at that origin as well. Let me rotate the object. All right, and this is what I'm talking about. So I'm going to rotate all of this way. And now I am going to move all of that from here to 0, 0. Okay, and now I know I am right at 0, 0. And now I can go to this side here. Now I can do UCS by view. Now I can actually draw here and I'll be fine. And so do a wireframe view. If you have the section, the easiest way to do this is to just place the section here. Otherwise, I'm going to do this. I'm going to create a polyline from here, and I am going to do this polyline and make it be 12 inches that way, and then go up by whatever the roof slope is. In this case, maybe 4. Now I have 4 in 12 here, right? Another polyline from here to there. That's 4 in 12. And now I can mirror that here, right? But maybe before I mirror, I am going to extend that polyline. So I'm going to create another line here and offset that line by the overhand. And then you extend this line to there. Leave that there for now. And now I'm going to mirror this on the other side. And then I can just fill it, right? And then offset this by maybe 8 inches or less, whatever the thickness of your roof is, 6 inches. And now I can do fillet, or I can just do a P-line from here to there. And see that I am using polylines all the time, because it's better to use polylines when creating 3D elements. In that way I can join these and then use extrude. And so I'm gonna PE join and join this one too. Enter. Now this is one polyline. Now let's look at this in 3D now. And maybe we put this in a different layer now. Let's go to layers. And let's use maybe the yellow line stick. And now I can extrude this object, right? Extrude. Select the object, press enter. And I can do just that. And I just created the roof. So that's a way to do that. Then if I go to the top, you see as by view, then line, I want a line here, offset that line by 12 inches. And that's where I need to actually move the roof too. So I'm going to move the roof 18 inches there. And then, of course, I could do the same on the other side, right? Make sure that I'm going to extend it from here by 12 inches. It doesn't want to allow me to do it. There are many elements there at that side. So maybe if I just do this, yeah, 12 inches. Oh, Control C. It's still not letting me do that. And so it's because of it's trying to snap to other parts here. So let's see if I can select the, oh, UCS, sorry, UCS, there we go. Still going back to, and so I'm just going to go to the top. Top UCS, and then I'm going to mirror this line here. See, maybe I can do that. No, let's do a P line here. That's all I needed. And now we got the roof here. Now the floor in this house is a very simple object, right? Because it's a flat floor. 3D wireframe. And the floor I can do with a box, right? So I can select box, start from here, start from one corner, then go to the other corner, and then go down by 6 inches, right? That's the slab. And now we just created the floor, right? And so that's all great. There's a tool here that we will be learning as we continue to work in AutoCAD. It's called the section plane. And the section plane actually is a great tool because it allows us to see the geometry that we are selecting. Why is that not working? Let's check the wireframe version. And let me put a boundary here. So there we go. It's still not activating the live section. Let's save it and see if we can do again. Wireframe. Let me do one more thing here. I'm going to create an object because somehow this plane is not working. There we go. So it is cutting through that object. So it might be that I need to join this. Let me copy that. And then we'll proceed to, yeah. So let's create a section plane here. And now we can see the section, right? It was just kind of resetting. And so the section plane allows me to start seeing the work I've been doing so far with inside the building. And, you know, there's a lot of work I need to do. Maybe I need to put a ceiling. Maybe I need to put the rake endings at the end of the roof. And there's a lot of details that I need to finish. But that's the idea of how you use the tools that we have so far to start creating the geometry for your project. And that's it for today. Please let me know if you have any questions right now. Otherwise, we'll end it right there.